what I do want to talk about. I want to talk about with you guys the state of the game, characters that are just the way we're getting character releases seems more and more crazy, you know, and some characters are actually being made invalid a lot quicker than others. And how I want to kind of present this to you guys is with my spreadsheet, at least for now, to talk about it, because hey, who doesn't love my spreadsheets? I'm basically the spreadsheet keeper or lore keeper or whatever. So we're gonna bring it up here. This is my character tracker of 2020, 2021. You guys have probably already seen this. And so what I want to talk about, let's scroll over so we can see the characters' names. Although that's a little bit hard to see here. It's cut off a little bit here on the stream, but you guys can see it. So I want to look all the way back to about this patch. I want to kind of look back to, you know, because I think this has kind of been made slightly invalid a little bit with Doc Ock. Let's zoom in a little bit, actually. Let's zoom in one more time here so we can see it a little bit better. So I want to start here at the Symbiote patch, guys, and talk about all of the characters. I want to go forward each patch and kind of like, are they still useful? Are they not? Have they been made invalid? Or were they just not really all that great to begin with? So we're going to start here at the Symbiote patch. So Scream and Anti-Venom with the Symbiotes, you know, rounding out Symbiote Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom. This was in October, or September, October here, in last year, so last fall. And they're really good characters, of course. So Scream and Anti-Venom are good characters, I'm not going to lie. But Scream is currently in the Arena Orb. Now, that is looking to get replaced soon with an Arena Orb number 2, which we'll get to. That's kind of separate conversation. But the Premium Orb 2% for Anti-Venom was very player-unfriendly. So when it comes to newer and mid-game players coming up, you know, you can't really suggest symbiotes to them because, A, Symbiote Spider-Man is not available, you know, Milestone Orbs, I'm sorry, is not an available farm spot. You know, you have to get lucky, and really lucky, because he's a 100 shard unlock, not 45 shards. Anti-Venom also a 100 shard character unlock. So like Cull Obsidian, who is also in the 2% there, very, very challenging to unlock. She-Hulk, on the other hand, I don't know if she was ever really all that good. She was overshadowed because she was bio, and not a lot of people actually geared her up unless you happen to get some really high red stars. Now, I think the Invisible Woman Fantastic Four She-Hulk team actually isn't that bad on the war defense, but regardless, she's a war defense character. She's not that great. You could skip her. Definitely skippable. And so let's move on to the Pymtech team. Again, sorry for the cutoff on the side, but you can kind of see the characters' names here. So Stature, Ghost, Yellow Jacket, and Doom. Let's just start with the Pymtech characters here. Stature, Ghost, and Yellow Jacket. All of them were, other than the fact that they're usable in the Jubilee event, they were all largely skippable. Except for Ghost. Ghost was like the #1 character of the Pymtech team. She's awesome in Dark Dimension, standalone, 2, 3, 4, and probably beyond that as well. So she's really the only good character here, and she actually hasn't been replaced yet in terms of this sort of power creep movement and sort of usability in this case, global Dark Dimension 4, 3, and 4. She's still really valid. But the other characters, really not that great. Yellow Jacket and Stature. So it seems that every patch we're getting characters, either they were never really all that relevant to begin with, or they just kind of got dropped off. And that's what we're kind of looking at. Now, Dr. Doom. This is another interesting one, because obviously he is the big bad guy for Dark Dimension 4's completion, and we're going to get to that as we go down the list here. And let's zoom in one more time. A lot of people are really unhappy about how quickly he's become kind of irrelevant in some cases. Definitely kind of on the arena side of things, he's kind of become irrelevant, although he is still really important for things like Doom Raid for both the Mystic and Tech lane. I don't think he's really replaceable there. So he's still good from a PvE aspect, but his PvP aspect, both in Alliance War and in Arena, has kind of been on the down. And of course, we're in patch 5.4 with Infinity Watch, so that kind of probably is going to make Doom even more irrelevant once Adam Warlock comes out, but that is possibly a separate conversation. So moving on to the December patch. Now, this was a really big patch because it covered both December and January, because they were on a very long holiday, and we have Shatterstar and Longshot, aka Dadbros, who are still good. They are good characters worth investing in. Yelena and Red Guardian, who are part of that, the Skilletary team, Skilletary 2.0 now, whatever you want to call them. Kitty Pryde and Iceman, part of the Astonishing X-Men. So I will say that Astonishing X-Men did kind of, they kind of break broke barriers here in terms of raid usability. They are a very solid team for raids, even in Ultimates. They're also really the only raid team that you can use that are good for the Doom Raid Mutant section, aside from the Mutant boss node. Nightmare on M Street, I believe, is the node for that, and which requires a different set of characters, including Dad Bros. That's a different conversation. I'm not going to talk about that. But you know, these characters are actually still kind of valid for now. And Red Guardian, though, and we'll talk about this in a separate video, Red Guardian is slowly, potentially, being replaced with another character who has been teased. But for me, I do have tier 15, I have tier 15 Red Guardian, so I've kind of already bitten that bullet when it comes to Red Guardian and done that, so nothing to do about there. Yelena, if you're not building Skilletary, you don't really need to build Yelena at all, and you could probably carry the Skilletary Flash event with someone else or with other characters, and you don't actually really need to build her if you have no plans of touching Skilletary. Shatterstar and Longshot, on the other hand, obviously we know that X Factor is going to be the unlock team for Adam Warlock, which makes them pretty important, but Dad Bros is still a pretty good combination. They're still probably worth gearing to some degree to tier 14, I would say, if you have it spare. And so moving on to the next patch, I believe this is 5.1. I didn't put all the numbers in here. The 5.1 here being Bishop, White Tiger, Jubilee, and Moon Knight. Now again, Bishop and Jubilee, I think this might be in the wrong order, it doesn't really matter. Bishop and Jubilee, of course, round out that astonishing X-Men team, so they're still pretty important, and they haven't been replaced yet. But White Tiger and Moon Knight, again, they're not really super relevant to the game's meta outside of Alliance War. So very much like sort of Yelena to some degree, because she's Skilletary, which is kind of like a war offense team, and She-Hulk previously for Alliance War defense here. You don't have to build White Tiger and Moon Knight. Now, I'll be honest, that Shadowland was a very fun team. I do have them built up to like tier 12, tier 13. I don't have them built up incredibly high, but they are a fun team to use. So I guess that counts for something, you know, if they're fun to use, but they're not all that relevant to the game's meta. So this does happen from time to time where characters come out. They're not super relevant to the game's meta. You know, you're not using White Tiger and Moon Knight in Arena, I don't think. Other people. I've been talking to some early and mid-game players, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. They're mainly a Alliance War offense team with some sprinkling of RTA, I guess, to harass some people with White Tiger's passive that gives people early turn bar. But other than that, it's not a huge issue. But this, patch 5.2, is where it really made the big leap with Silver Surfer. So this is where we started to see the decline here of Black Order, because Silver Surfer basically does that ability block on Cull Obsidian, heal block on everyone else, and kind of stops the Black Order in their tracks. You do have to kind of move into sort of a hybrid team. I'm not going over, you know, that hybrid team, but it includes Silver Surfer, Emma Frost, and sprinkling of other characters, Doc Ock, and things like this. But it did make it possible to beat Black Order, and even beat them easier than using your own Black Order. That sometimes was kind of a little bit iffy, and basically from this point on, you didn't really need to build up Black Order if you didn't want to, because they were kind of being less relevant in the arena meta. So this is kind of where we started at patch 5.2, that sort of power climb, no, that's not the word, the power creep, or power mountain climb, whatever you want to call it, that the Silver Surfer really made leaps and bounds over some of the other characters. And I think that, and this is where we're starting to get to, Multiple Man and Polaris, they're good. They're good. X Factor obviously is a good team, but you don't need them. Multiple Man, you know, he's good in Dark Dimension 4 City if you really want to take him up, but that's more mutant gear, of course, that you're going to have to spend for something that the symbiotes could do as well. And Polaris, not really a necessary character. This is a completely different conversation, by the way, with regards to X Factor and the unlock of Infinity Watch's Adam Warlock. That's not the purposes of this segment. Anyways, we're just kind of looking at the characters sort of in a historical perspective here. Multiple Man and Polaris, I wouldn't say really broke the game in any sense here, but they were quite fun to add in with Dad Bros if you wanted to use them there. Overall, though, they didn't really include much to the game's overall overarching meta like Silver Surfer did and Jubilee and the Astonishing X-Men did. So those were probably the big releases between that point in time. You know, Silver Surfer in March, Jubilee, Bishop, and the Astonishing X-Men was probably the next biggest increase to the game meta. So moving on to last patch, patch 5.3. with Kestrel and Heroes for Hire. Now, what's interesting, though, is that unless you bought into Calling Wing and Misty Knight, they weren't really available free-to-play until quite late into the patch. You know, because they're running 2 different blitzes, and as of this video, as of this recording, Calling Wing's blitz number 2 has just happened, or is happening, and Misty Knight's second round hasn't happened yet. And so for a lot of free-to-play players, and unless you scored that top 1% for the first blitz, you probably don't even have them yet. And already we're hearing that Infinity Watch might already counter this, and that's the concern that I have. Now, a lot of people say, you know, that's your fault for investing in a war defense team. I slightly agree, because I don't think that people should be really investing very heavily into a war defense team, because I hate it, and I hate Alliance War, and I hate the overinvestment in a war defense team that you don't get to look at. But let's talk about Kestrel. She really, to some degree, broke the game. With the combination, if Silver Surfer is power creep, Kestrel is power mountain climb. I don't even know what else to say. Maybe chat can tell me, give me a better description there. Kestrel, you know, some people are Camp Kestrel, Camp Silver Surfer. Regardless, both characters really kind of, the combination of the two of them really broke the game. But what that really meant, though, is with Silver Surfer and Kestrel, you know, I'll say, I was kind of okay with Silver Surfer dismantling the Black Order meta, because they were arena meta for far too long, in my opinion, with about, you know, anywhere from 9 to 12 months of arena meta-ness, if is that a word? And so I'm kind of okay with that. But with Kestrel, you know, Kestrel just really solidified that cracking open the game there with how powerful she was and how good she was against anything, really. She's usable in every single game mode. She's probably the best character in the game. And I do have her on my baby account, and she's just wrecking everyone. It doesn't matter who you're facing. Kestrel is that strong. And not to mention that she's harassing the shit out of people in real-time arena. Anyone using, you know, combinations of Kestrel, Dad Bros, Baron Zemo, you know, where people don't even get a chance to take a turn because it's so nuts. It's getting to be quite frustrating for a lot of people, I think. And so that's important to keep in mind as well. And it's not fun. Calling Wing and Misty Knight, the Heroes for Hire team, I don't think that they made the game a better place. I think they made it a more frustrating place in terms of Alliance War. So we're starting to see, or depending on what kind of alliance you're in, you're going to start to see, or are starting to see, more Heroes for Hire on the defense in some, varied power levels, maybe 300k, 400k. But if you see any in the 600k power range, that's a very challenging mountain to climb against them. I don't think you can punch up against a 600k Heroes for Hire. I have seen some punch ups against 300, 400k teams, because I think that the leap in power in that sense, really solidifies their damage and just how strong they are. And really, it's just come to frustrate a lot of people with them as a war defense team. So yeah, it hasn't really made the game more fun. If anything, it's made it more frustrating, and I don't think that it really contributed a lot to the game itself. Some people might argue, I think Kestrel is very much a double-edged sword here. In some senses, she made the life of my baby account a lot easier. I'm clearing a lot of the PvE campaigns a lot quicker than I would have done before. But from a PvP aspect, I think she may have broken the game a little bit. She's so powerful over some of the other characters that it just makes a lot of the characters obsolete. I am thankful that from a Doomraid perspective, she is usable in 2 lanes, both the skill lane and the tech lane, and she makes that a lot easier. This is a completely separate conversation on Doomraid, though. I plan to, or maybe you've already seen the video where I've talked about Doomraid, especially in a patch 5.4 context. But yeah, Kestrel is good in these PvE aspects, not gonna lie. But when it comes to PvP aspects, I think it's just, this combined with Heroes for Hire, I don't know if this was a very fun patch on a PvP side of things. And a lot of the game is PvP, whether it's Arena, Alliance War, it makes up a good bulk of the game. And so I think that this just really flipped things on its head. So this really starts to make you question about who is worth gearing now. And let's talk about patch 5.4 really quickly. I know it's quite new, and most of these characters aren't even available. We do have the Phyla-Vel pre-offer that was available that I have here. I have for the this is my notes here. It's not much here. And Moondragon is sort of temporarily available in the power cores, but really it's not going to make a huge difference until Adam Warlock comes out and rounds out the team. I don't think we're going to see the sort of scale of what we're going to be dealing with in terms of power creep until that happens. So that will be put on standby for the moment, but I just kind of want to raise this because Infinity Watch apparently are already making Heroes for Hire obsolete, that they can kick the shit out of Heroes for Hire pretty easily from what I saw. Now, whether or not that ends up being the case when the full team comes out, maybe it was just an Envoy video, a very optimistic Envoy video that showed how they could be beaten, but maybe in practice or in reality when we use it, it doesn't end up working out that way. That has happened before with Skilletary when they showed a very optimistic view or optimistic gameplay session of Skilletary versus Marauders, and then when the rest of us used it, it wasn't so hot afterwards. So we'll wait and see on that one, but you can kind of see how a lot of the characters are the newer characters. There's power creep after power creep after power creep. Infinity Watch is just that next step. Now they're going to be probably the next arena meta, kind of like a Black Order 2.0. You're going to need to get all 5 of them online, probably at least at a 4 to 5 yellow red level and gear tier 14 plus, and they might be valid for the next 6 months in arena defense. And even on a war defense capability, Infinity Watch looks incredibly strong. So it's making so many past investments obsolete. And so I can't even recommend, when people ask me, what characters should I invest in, what characters are worth investing in, I have a hard time recommending any characters that are older than, definitely no older than a year, realistically. But I would almost say that most of the good characters worth investing in are characters that have been released over the last 6 months. And there's very few characters that are actually needed. If you look at the Doom Raid characters, realistically, you should be trying to lump in combining your Dark Dimension characters and your Doom Raid characters, because that's going to be the best bang for your buck. And a lot of those are, I would say, characters within the last year. Anything more than that, really not worth investing. Just let's scroll through the recent patches. Emma Frost, not even available. So if you didn't get her on the milestone, good effing luck. Baron Zemo is worth it, but the other Doc Ock, Sinister Six, I would say no, you don't really need them. Emma Frost, like I said, yeah, not available, so if you didn't get her on her event, good luck. Beast, part of that Astonishing X-Men, so that's worth gearing up. Squirrel Girl, not really. I do have her at tier 14, that's the rule of 7, that's a completely different conversation, because I have her at 7 red. X-Force, nope, I don't think so. Power Armor, nope, don't think so. Black Order, that's debatable. Ebony Maw for sure, because you're going to need him for Dark Dimension 4 and Doom Raid still. Taskmaster, not necessarily. You don't really need him. Cull Obsidian, the rest of the Black Order, I would say that Proxima is probably the best use out of the others because of her kit, standalone. Red Skull, not necessarily. Good for war, but otherwise you don't need him. Blob, no. Symbiote Spider-Man, yep, but I mean, good luck if you're a newer mid-game player and you can't unlock him. Cyclops, nope. Toad, nope. Karnak, nope. Crystal, nope. Yo-Yo, maybe. She is in the raid store now. She was premium up 2%, but now she was made into the raid store. You can see over here that I have in the method raid store as of 25th of May. Black Bolt, not necessarily. Counter is a helpful character for countering Heroes for Hire, but otherwise, nope. Not usable in most game modes. And then this is just 2020. So Minerva, yeah, she's still usable in Doom Raid and Dark Dimension, and Captain Marvel, nope. So this is just the start of 2020 over the last 18 months of characters. I don't have the full slate, but before that, I didn't start collecting the data before that. But you can kind of look how a lot of these characters just aren't worth gearing. You systematically go down each patch, and that realistically, there's maybe one character worth gearing each patch still. So Yo-Yo, Black Bolt, you could maybe make an argument here. Symbiote Spider-Man here, again, the only one of that patch. Proxima Midnight. And even Thanos, I don't know. I don't think you need to gear him necessarily anymore. Taskmaster, nope, not really. And most of these aren't, and sometimes in a patch, there's not even a single character that I could recommend gearing anymore that you need to. So it looks pretty grim, and I don't know how this is going to continue down the line for patch 5. Even patch 5.4 that we're in now with Infinity Watch. I think Personally, guys, if Infinity Watch becomes invalid in like a patch or two, I might quit this game, because I do plan on investing quite heavily into Infinity Watch, because I think they are going to be Black Order 2.0. But if they go down the line and you know, they release a counter for them a lot quicker than expected, than I expect, you know, within one patch or two patches, I'm out. Because I don't want to see my gear investment and my resource investment made to look like shit, you know, after only a patch or two. Because this is a lot of gear to invest a character into for gear tier 14 and 15. And that's a lot of stuff. And most free-to-play players, it's going to take a lot of time to accumulate this kind of resources. Both, you know, gear, gold, T4 oranges, ISOs, you know, talking about Doom Raid and things like this, because I think Moondragon and Adam Warlock will be viable in Doom Raid. I don't know. You know, let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments down below, of course. You know, just the state of the game that we're at now. I don't have a problem with power creep, but I feel like it's like you're jumping canyons here, or that we're just, you know, it's like a mountain. It's like, you know, there was Silver Surfer, and that was just a slow climb, like this, and then Kestrel's like in terms of the power. That's what I felt we're at, and then Infinity Watch is like straight up. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm probably crazy, and the heat's getting to me. But yeah, we're in a very interesting time now with the game. There's a lot of unhappiness floating about. There's a lot of, you know, for all sorts of different reasons why people are not happy. And this is just one part where I am concerned about. And maybe you guys are, maybe you're not. Let me know all that in the comments down below as well. So that's all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching this spreadsheet bonanza where we went over all this stuff. And if you like that, please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And until next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Whalen signing out.